This episode, I would like to talk about Jakob Nielsen's theories on digital or thoughts on digital accessibility and his critics. Jakob Nielsen wrote in an actual article that accessibility has failed, and he is thinking about what generative UI can do. As you already know, Jakob Nielsen is one of the most popular usability researchers. He is the CEO of the Nielsen Norman Group and has so a lot of impact in the usability area. We have to say, first of all, that Nielsen is not an accessibility specialist. In the last years, I didn't hear anything of him concerning digital accessibility. So we can say he is interested in this topic, but he's not an expert at all. In his arguments, he's not clear distinguishing between accessibility and user experience or usability, I think. He's, for example, talking about the experience of elderly and literally disabled persons, and that the accessibility guidelines are referring to them. But when you read further, he's talking about usability or user experience for older people. And that's a completely other topic. That means he is not talking about accessibility, but usability in most of his article. In my opinion, he is right in his opinion or his view on a generative UI. The generative UI, that means adjusted UI experiences for different abled persons. He's right, I think, in this point. Where he is wrong, perhaps, is his view on blindness and other disabilities. That means it is, of course, very important that you have an adjusted user experience for neurodiverse persons, for visually impaired persons, for elderly persons. But this is not so important for blind persons or people who are relying on the code of the website. For example, people who use speech input, people with motor disabilities. For them, the graphical user interface is not unimportant, but the screen reader and the speech input are relying on the source code of the website or the application on the accessibility, the user accessibility API information, and they are not so far dependent on the information of the graphical user interface. And I don't know how he wants to convert a graphical user interface in another way we do today, so that blind persons can get a better user experience. To summarize that, Nielsen is not talking about stopping accessibility efforts we are doing today. He talks about middle future, means around 2030 or so. And he says that the second generation of generative UI, that means an evolution of the technology we have today. That means we have to go on with our accessibility efforts until this technology will come. Um, I share his opinion that this technology will come not only for people with disabilities, but for people with all kinds of different needs. and they don't have to have a disability. Perhaps they have only the wish to view the interface in an easier manner. Another topic is language adjustment for different abled persons, for example, plain language. And this is already possible with a lot of errors, of course, but I think that will improve in the near future because of machine learning algorithms. They will get better and better, and there's a high demand of this adjustments. And I think many persons will, um, many companies will work on that, and we will see that it will be a success in the near future. Let's take a view on the critics. I would ignore the personal critics on Nielsen or the personal attacks on Nielsen because I don't find them very engaging. What we see is that the critics are talking a lot of the uh, um, normative version of the accessibility guidelines, but I think they're wrong in this direction because what we see is that the compliance is taking a lot of energy, which can be better invested in other directions. I don't think that WCAG has a lot of success, brought a lot of success in the digital accessibility. Perhaps the WCAG in the way it is today is more a problem than a solution for accessibility. Surely I'm not a fan of Nielsen because he is talking a lot of things he didn't understand, I think. But he has a substantial argument. He's participating in a discussion, which I find very interesting. And I don't find I think that it makes much sense how he is attacked from the accessibility area. We can discuss his ideas. We can say, okay, his ideas are bullshit, but we should not attack him on this personal way like Adrian Roselli or other people are doing it. I think they are wrong in this aspect. What we see is that accessibility experts are challenged in the future because we will see more and more automation and AI algorithms which compensate the accessibility errors. And that is what we want to reach. We don't want to earn money. I hope so. We want to improve the experience for different persons, and we can. It doesn't matter in which way we achieve that target. If we achieve that with AI and algorithms and automation, then this is good. And if we reach that with our power, with our doing, that's also okay. I think the attacks on Nielsen doesn't make much sense, and in the end, they doesn't matter. It will happen. Um, if we are um, supporting it or fighting against it, it will happen anyway, and it doesn't matter what we are thinking about that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and would be great if you subscribe. And let me say goodbye and see you next time.